Restoration. It's another beautiful day, and we say a very big thank you to God Almighty for granting us life and gifting us all the beautiful favors life has to offer. My outfit is by Ophelia of ABS Collection, Dancerman Zodiac. Ophelia, thank you very much for this beautiful outfit. My fabric by GTP New Style. I'm saying a very big thank you to Riri Makeovers for my makeup, and of course, Roji One. Roji, thank you very much for my hair. Roji is located at Kokompe Eye Clinic. So if you want a beautiful hairstyle for any occasion, kindly contact Roji for that beautiful hairstyle. Well, in the world today, or let me say throughout the years, we've had categories of women. Yes. And the accounts will say Yawo Oba and Yawo Oba. The first category of women you can look at are women who are just pushing their destinies with the power of the world. And we have women, that's category 2, whose destinies are being pushed and pushed by the power, the presence, and the guidance of the Holy Spirit. This category of women, which is category 2, is what the world needs. And the woman I'm speaking to today is a woman from category 2. Please let's welcome Dzigbodi K. Hello, Dzigbodi.
How are you? Good to see you.
I love it when the hug is tight.
Tight. That's the whole thing. You look beautiful.
So do you.
It can be.
We share.
We are sharing.
How are you, Dzigbodi?
I'm amazing. Very blessed.
We bless God. God has been good.
Awesome.
How did everything start?
Everything started with a young, restless Dzigbodi trying to find her way in life. And she found her way through childhood. Didn't know too much of herself, was having self-esteem issues as a young person, always smiling on her face and laughing. Fortunately, I was born among a number of boys. So I had about 8 brothers. I was the only girl, and I was the last one. And I think it helped me a lot to be very mentally tough.
Yeah.
And I think that's why a lot of people did not see my internal struggles. But there's no definition in my life. So I did lose control a few times when it came to my personal life, my relationships, etc. But there was always things to keep me on track. And over the years, I think that I was able to develop and adopt the right skill sets, but I did not know that it was all a tapestry that was being woven in my life. But I, grew up working with my grandmother, my father, worked for a couple of entrepreneurial businesses, and then I ended up leaving and going into the US, studying finance. Everything that people told me I do, you can go and do this, then I tried. Go and do this, and I tried. I meet somebody, I'm in a relationship with a person, I think you're really smart, you should do this, then I tried. Still restless. Until I found out that, there was this whole idea of me wanting people to feel good, to look good. But I think it was beyond that. I didn't understand the concept of feeling good then. I thought feeling good was just maybe a concept of feeling well. But actually, I was looking at holistic people. So when things were even bad for me, I wanted someone to feel good. When things were bad for me, I want somebody to feel good. So I realized that it's actually feeling good holistically. What's going on inside to do with your health, what's going on mentally, your state of mind, your state of heart, your state of body. Every state of yours must have some significance. And I didn't really realize it. And I realized that actually brings the whole person, the holistic approach. And so over the years, my restlessness took me to different skills until I got to this stage, like from starting my business as a 2-man business in a living room, then started to grow it into, restaurants. Yes.
Yeah, I can still taste your food in my mouth now.
Yeah, the Nudupe food.
Yeah, Nudupe food. I mean, it was just incredible.
Yeah.
It felt like grandma's food. And back in the day, I would drive from wherever
to come and
just
try
to eat there.
Yeah.
And your fetri and
yes, for that. Yeah.
And the jollof.
And the jollof, yeah.
Please, one of these days.
We have to do some.
You have to do jollof for me.
A friend of mine just decided to wade, a friend of mine and myself, Gloria, we decided to wade into hospitality. Then we did that, then came to the restaurant. Then, of course, Alio was growing. And then after Alio, then I moved into finally getting into, right now, focus on personal development and helping people to be able to transform their lives or activate their lives to the highest level. Whichever part you are, whether it's your humanness, it's your entrepreneurship, it's your leadership, or it's your power. That's where I feel that all the calling was already there. Yeah. But the activation took many, I would say decades of restlessness. A lot of times I don't want to give my age, I want to be like Stacy. So
it's pardoned. A lot of women don't give their ages.
No, I'm just saying that as soon as people find my age, they're wondering, is she sure? But
it means you are graciously growing.
Graciously growing, I love that. Graciously growing, I'm going to use that word.
Yeah,
I love it. Stacy's trademark, graciously growing. I have to learn that.
Growing.
So so basically I transitioned through all these restless points, but underlying through all the restlessness was, I think, the push of God. I accepted Jesus Christ as my personal savior quite a number of years ago. And then I went to the US and I gave it all up. I backslid all the way.
you went to the US.
I went to the US.
For that one, I can guarantee
so you can imagine,
testify.
You can imagine
that you went into the gutters.
Oh yes,
you drank some and you messed yourself up.
Yes, and it wasn't even survival. It's called the pit. I entered into the pit, tried everything. You know how it is. And at that time,
what did you try?
I tried.
Don't you want to know?
I tried life
so that when you go to the US, you not go and try.
I tried life small. At that time, it was mainly to find my feet. My brother, took me up to find my feet and get an education. But at that time, I also realized that it was my time for exploration. So even though I was this spirit-filled, firefighting, tongue-talking person, I call them issues of life. When you get there, it doesn't matter how wealthy.
You have to try it. You think today you are talking about it.
I'm releasing it.
Yes.
It doesn't matter how wealthy your family is, or it doesn't matter who you are living with. You have to find your level. Yeah. And it's like a culture shock. As soon as you get there, it's like you've been thrown into space. You have to find a job. You have to immediately, well, not one job, maybe multiple jobs. You have to immediately. So it will then come to the friends you choose, the place you choose to work. I always say, and people talk about the 5 most important people are the people who you have around you at any stage of your life. I have come to realize, I think in 4s, and I believe that 4 is my significant number. So I believe that the 4 most important people that you have around you, be it relationship, personal, be it life, be it labor. So your life, your love, your labor, then your final one will be your power relationship. That's like your covenant relationship. There's always God first, and then you have those 3. So when you have that, you live your life in 4s. They are key. And I think for me initially, because I was this person with low self-esteem, I was looking for the relationships. I started first with love. Even though God was there, I just said, God, you stay there small. So I got into personal relationships that I thought were going to help me.
Help you.
Because at that point, I felt like nobody was giving me the necessary attention and support that I needed to survive the US. So I was desperately looking for somebody to say. So I'll go, I like that, right? There used to be something like that.
Yeah,
there used to be a
program
show like
that.
So yes, I was searching for love, and it was not necessarily to look for it. I think it was just somebody to say it was okay. It was
just satisfaction.
And I think I didn't get anything next to fulfillment. I just got, people who were giving me even worse direction. So of course I got into strange relationships. I have to call them strange. I got into alcoholism very early, and I used to enjoy my drink. I mean, as for that, I have to say.
You know why I used to enjoy it? Because anytime it knocked you out, you forgot about your issues.
It was actually a healing balm. I say it all the time. That, it started from here, but it was a healing balm. It was a healing balm to numb me from all of that.
But as soon as it was out of your system.
And didn't take long.
Oh, then your problems come back. Hello,
and everything
darling.
Comes
right in your face.
And the second thing is that when you're looking for love in the wrong places, you would find people to tell you they love you. But that's where it ends. Yeah. And it was a system that it was everybody for yourself, God for us all. Even the best relationships, the best marriages, or the best communities you would find, it would have to be an interdependent system. Independent, everybody's independent. They come together. I didn't understand that. I was still at a stage of dependency. So I struggled to just find myself. So I ballooned in weight like nobody's business. Whoa. Ballooned. I was like probably maybe
size 18.
Yeah, 18, 20.
Hey,
yeah,
US. 20 is like.
Yeah, I used to wear 20. I used to wear 18.
Whoa.
US, yes. So it was about 6 times. And I mean, I'm talking about ballooned. I ballooned, really, 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 really nicely. And I was always told that, the way I look up here, well endowed, and you should wear really short stuff, and then you would help attract. So every time I dress, I'll push it up.
Push it up.
Push it
up, girl.
And then I'll push it up here. So at that time, the life and the living, and I thought your body was what you would use to attract, the way you looked. So even though I was trying to help people do better with their look, for me, I hadn't gotten it right yet. I was just totally disaligned.
So I'm sure someone could meet you and go like, oh, she doesn't look well. So
how can she help me?
What's she gonna do? To make mine better?
I used to like to be flamboyantly and flatteringly fat. So
don't mind her. She went to an international.
You see me.
That's right.
You see me coming with my multicolored leggings and my huge top.
Hey,
Stacy, and my big block heel shoes.
Hey, you have sinned,
Charlie. It was flattering, flamboyant, and then all you see behind is this
rainbow
fat girl.
Colors.
I'm telling you. So I've been there, done that, and I thought that was what people loved and people wanted me, but I realized that it was all for the wrong reason. So I did fall down into the pit until I had to come back up.
How did you come back up?
That's a whole other story. Because
I'm willing. I have time.
You have time. Okay, let's start talking. It'll take us about a week, but let me start. I'll try and summarize it. Basically, the turning point I always share was in a particular relationship I was in. And, at this point, I had met the person who had determined to help me, the person who had determined to help transform my life, whether I liked it or not. And this person was determined to make me better. But what they did not know was that what they were doing it because they cared enough about me to do it. And probably they wanted to marry me or wanted to make me better to be a better person, but they helped me find myself. What I was looking for all along, what I didn't have, what I thought was this self-esteem, what I thought was self-control. The person was able to let me look in the mirror and see that this person that is there does not exist in reality, but the person exists superficially to create another person. So I had two different, not multiple personalities, but two separate people. and I had created. So when I started to find myself by saying that, oh, I'm more powerful than I thought, just being naturally. I'm stronger than I thought naturally. So let me then, and I found my way back into the house of God. So I started working on my self-esteem, on my self-control. Then all of a sudden, I enter into the house of God. So it was like 3 things happened at the same time. A human being who would probably be a human angel was coming to save me. Yeah. And then I walk in and I find Jesus again. So now all of a sudden, this person who was downtrodden, this person who lacked self-control, this person had huge self-esteem problems, now had identified that she's powerful because there's God in her. She has the ability to communicate her message because she's found clarity. She had the ability to see further and do more because she's creative. Yeah. At that time, I thought my creativity actually was my darkness, but my creativity actually was my power. So all the skills I was gaining were skills that another person would gain and just have it. Yeah. But I would take those skills to another level. So let's say that I go and learn something about image. And then I would come and I'll say, okay, the standard way of image is to be able to know how you appear, how you behave, how you communicate. But I can come and sit with Stacy. And it felt like as soon as I sat with Stacy, I'll be able to connect to her innermost need. And then I'll be able to give Stacy a customized or a direct help, not generic, that I'm an image consultant. Therefore, I'm telling Stacy, oh, wear red, wear no. I'm able to get to Stacy's heart. Yeah. So Stacy's sitting with me and we're supposed to be talking about image. But then I find out that Stacy's hair is falling out because Stacy has lost 2 relationships. Then I'll realize, oh, I've lost 2 relationships too. Then I find out, so all of a sudden, there was instinctiveness, there was some capacity to help beyond what I would do normally. And I would be able to help Stacy to transform totally, not just her image, but what was also going on. So I realized that the creativity gave me power to connect, gave me power to communicate, and gave me power to bring people to their point of clarity.
Restoration.
We've come a long way and we're constantly on the move. We go bravely, confidently, gracefully. For we are the gracious ones. We love, we share, we give. We are the inspired ones. We laugh, we teach, we live. Our mothers and fathers, our sons and daughters, our brothers and sisters of every day and forever. All of us are a gift to each other. We live a life that's never ending. Our beauty is a never fading grace. GTP, timeless.
Oh, hi! I'm making my delicious yam fritters today. My dad loves them, which makes it easier to ask for extra pocket money. I use yam, chicken breast, seasoning, zucchini, carrots, spinach, flour, baking powder, herbs, pepper, and my favorite, fritol. First, prepare a thick batter. Then create a hollow center in the yam and boil. Dip the yam in the batter and deep fry with fritol. Season the chicken, stir fry, and saute vegetables. Garnish and serve.
Everyone has that one meal that is unbeatable.
What's yours?
Join the One Meal Challenge and show the world why absolutely nobody makes that one memorable dish like you can.
This dish always works.
Fritol, making life memorable.
When I'm down and I need something to cheer me out, well, it's an exclusive drink, vanilla flavored and so refreshing. Special malt. Special malt. Guess what? Special malt makes me feel okay. Special malt. Even you in the system, before drinking, see. Special malt. Special malt makes me feel okay. Special malt. So clean and Special month, makes me feel okay. Special month, guess what? Special month makes me feel okay. Special month, even you in the system, before drink and see. Special month.
Special malt. Feel special.
I've got yes comfort. I've got yes confidence. I've got yes freshness. We've got yes protection.
Ultra thin, wide wings and leak guards. Yes sanitary pads give you maximum comfort, hygiene and protection in a resealable pack.
We've got yes protection.
Yes sanitary pads. Maximum protection, maximum confidence.
Don't worry, we've got yes protection.
I love to eat a tasty breakfast in the morning. Something delicious and healthy, filled with vitamins. That's my day right, makes me so bright. Keeps my body happy. Let me tell you about what I eat. It's my secret. Hooch, crunchy, crunch, cornflakes. Hooch, crunchy, crunch, cornflakes. Hooch, crunchy, crunch, cornflakes. Hooch, crunchy, crunch, cornflakes. Wow! I say hooch, crunchy, crunch, cornflakes. Hooch, crunchy, crunch, cornflakes. Crunchy!
Hooch, healthy for everyone.
Well, why did you walk out? Because for most women, a man that has brought so much change
Value to
and
you.
value, they will just cling onto him. If he's even killing them, it's gonna work out right. How are you able to just let go of such a man?
I came to understand a concept that I actually focus on now when it comes to my coaching, called your personal Trinity. I believe something, Stacey. I believe that the level is 3. First, God. Second, your assignment. Before your love and family. In a lot of cases, the personal Trinity is everybody must first understand that you connect to a higher power, that's God. Your second priority, husband should not kill me, but your second and kids should not kill me. I'm their friend, tell them when you see them.
Oh, they know auntie loves them.
Totally. And I'm a sister-in-law too, so. But the bottom line is, your second is not actually your family. Your second is your call. Your call actually is what attracts everyone else into your space and your energy. Your call is what brings your family into your reality. Your call is what actually makes people fall into your capacity. So they bring your family into your reality and they bring people to your capacity. And people do not know that. So your call or your assignment is your second priority outside of God. God created you in his image. Then the next thing he gave you was an assignment before he said, join together. So a lot of times, ladies miss that middle. So they go from God, even I'm talking about people who really love God. I'm talking about people who are in ministry. I'm talking about people who are focused on God, who love God. They miss the second step and they go to the third step. So you find people now who are crying in their homes, who are crying in their lives. Run through the lives of people who do well. Generally, you would find that they heed to their call. You, for example, and that is how your family unit stays together. But every time you focus on God, you skip that second step, then your life becomes an empty void to be filled.
In the middle.
And when that void is going to be filled, then you are not a person of Trinity. That means that you've missed one step. So you are always going to cling on to what you think is filling you, and you would never be fulfilled. When you have an assignment, and everyone, and I'll say it again, every single person, as long as you have God in you, your assignment is clear. You may not have seen it, but you have an assignment. It has not come to you It can be triggered by you're sitting in the room listening to Dzigbodi and your assignment will come. You may be watching a movie, your assignment will come. You'll be sitting with friends. Something. And if you get that, I'm telling you, you're going to have one of the best life relationships, love relationships, and work relationships. And that is what I found. So when I walked in, I started to see that I had a call. I had an assignment. So it was no longer about a career, but a calling. So I am something as life, something as a career, something as a calling. So I was working in banking and financial services, but I realized that no, there's a calling, gift, or talent that I have. And that is what this gentleman helped show me. So once I discovered my calling, then I realized that relationship may limit my calling. And that is why I walked out. So what I want to say is that a lot of us, when you find your calling, take that calling into your relationship. Let your relationship understand and have buy-in. But a lot of times we go and we submit our calling to our relationship. You submit your calling to God and you communicate your calling to your relationship. Your calling is not submitted to man.
That is deep.
He gave it to you, so you submit it to him. He then activates the grace, which is sufficient. What we do is that we take our calling and package it because we call something love. Stacey, I've come to understand that for this cause, the two people come together. It didn't say for this love. So first rule of relationship, marriage, anything, is purpose. So it's for this cause that the two come together. For you and your husband is a cause, and then love. So people focus first on the love and they submit their calling to the heart of somebody who, for lack of a better word, may not care at that time. They may care about you because they want you to be their wife. They want you to have children. But they haven't seen your second step. And I always tell people, you may not even know it before you go into marriage.
You always need people who would push you
towards finding it. I even always say that even in your dating, it would help if you have somebody in your life, your love or your labor, who can provoke you to find that calling before you join it.
My husband does it so well that it gets annoying.
Exactly.
Just on our drive here, we almost had a fight in the car about something we've wanted to do, and he keeps saying, "Oh, let's do it, let's do it." Anytime he asks, "I've done it, I'm working on it." It's like you're doing it, but I've not seen it. And Kofi would push you.
Exactly.
It's like someone sent him to frustrate you with that.
Perfect. Provocation is what I call it.
It makes you want to prove a point.
Exactly.
It makes you want to do it better. So those are the kind of people we need in our lives.
That's it. And that's what I say, that until your call is clear, your provocation cannot come. And a lot of us in relationships, now I even call it both ladies and gentlemen, we go and submit our call to man, the human being you're in a relationship with. The person will not understand. I can tell you clearly from what you are telling me is that because you've submitted your call to God, God is the one who works through your husband. So he provokes him to provoke you. So he is speaking based on the fact that your call is not submitted to man, but to God. So he is supporting that. That is why when Mary was pregnant with Jesus, it was clear that there had to be a Joseph who would be informed. Be it, understand it. There's always, it's in the mouth or the eyes of two witnesses, a matter is established. So when God bears witness to your calling, anybody who comes around you, he will put a conviction in their heart about your calling. And then that person will provoke you onto good works. But if you don't submit your calling to God and you submit your gift, your talent, your calling to man, then that man can throw it away in the garbage. They can decide that, listen, you don't need to work, stay at home. But when God has spoken to them about it, they will be restless until they get you to go out there and work, because that work would help them. There's nothing wrong with a man wanting his wife to stay, because even housewives are calling. Even there is a calling of a wife, that is what you are called to be. But then if you submit it to a man, you would not get the maximum or the optimum. But the very moment you submit it to God, you'll be the optimum as a wife who is supporting your husband. So whatever your call is, first, your God, know that you have a call, whether you have it or not. Thirdly, go into your relationship and family. So that second layer makes you independent, makes and ties it together. And your independence is not, I am free. Your independence is what contributes to your family, is what contributes to community, is what contributes to God's work. So understand that, have a personal Trinity. That's what a lot of relationships are missing. And once that is the glue that puts it together, you would have highly successful relationships. And I found this many years ago. And as soon as I found that, I realized that as long as I have a call, God will bring somebody who would understand and support my call. And even if the person is resisting it, it's part of God's plan.
Wow. I mean, we've gotten to understand certain things from a different dimension. And I know our viewers are going to take this and work on these three things. Because we've really taken it for granted for so long.
Exactly. And that is what I believe, that a lot of relationships can be restored. A lot of relationships can be healed. A lot of relationships, because it's all about grace. Understand the God in me so I can also understand the God in you. And if you have God in you and I have God in me and we both understand, then we are connected.
Yes.
And if we are connected, it means that I call it the filler of your sandwich. It's your tuna or your egg or your luncheon meat or whatever it is that you put in your sandwich. You know that if you have 2 slices of bread, you and me, and you don't have the filler, the bread doesn't taste good. That call, that talent, that gift is the filler that completes your sandwich.
Wow. Before I called you, I was telling our viewers that the woman I was about to call has the power, the grace, and energy of the Holy Spirit pushing her to her destination. Few years back, you lost your husband.
2 years.
It's been 2 years already.
Yep.
And you went quiet and came back even better. I didn't see you within that moment, but I was depressed for you because to be married to someone you love for so long and you would have to suddenly say goodbye. I got depressed for you. Anytime I heard your name, I would say, oh God, grant our sister grace to fight through this. When you lose someone who is just a friend, it's difficult. What happened? I mean, when it happened, where were you? Because you and I, we love to travel.
I love that.
Can you share it and share how you came over it?
Well, what I can say is, I sit back today and I reflect back on it. You talk a lot about grace, but I look back every day at that moment and I continually thank God for that capacity. But let me explain. I was here, interestingly. I got up in the morning to a normal Saturday morning. It was a normal Saturday morning, like we're having a good Saturday here. As you talked about, when you are a family and a working woman, you wake up early. So even though it was a Saturday morning, we didn't sleep in. We woke up early because we had things to do. We had a very, very big event that night. And my husband was the guest of honor. I mean, he was the main stage show. So we're planning for it. As a woman, you prepared all your clothing and, because you had to be, you had to be ready.
I mean, you're a representation of your husband.
I had to be the ambassador. So we had to go well. So we woke up in the morning and then we also had some errands to do during the day. So we talked very early. And then Saturday mornings, I go for prayer meetings. We actually do intercessory prayer purely for church and people. So I go. So we spoke and I said, I was leaving, talked, came back down the stairs as like I said, a normal Saturday morning. My husband does his swimming, and then he does his, reading of his newspapers. It's a normal day.
Just another day.
Another day. So we woke up another day, was talking, it was very fine. We all had a great conversation. Then I, came down with him. He was going on his normal swimming, and I was going to my prayer meeting. And he, as usual, he would say, okay, go and pray for all of us and all that. So I left. And so it was, at that moment, actually, it was a very, 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 very powerful prayer meeting. Prior to this, it was my birthday a few days before that happened. So I had gone for the first time on, like, I do dry fasts a lot at that time. Mm-hmm. But this one, I had gone for almost 14 days of dry fasting and praying to God as to what the next step of my life was. So, I mean, I was very confident that, something good was going to happen. God is going to give me a great reward. Mm-hmm. So I was in high expectation. So after the prayer meeting was finished and, we're coming home, then my phone just kept beeping, whatever. So the first one I didn't pick up, but I was just close to home, so I didn't bother. I said, well, then I sent a text. I sent a text to my husband that I was on my way. No response then, but I thought, oh, he probably hadn't seen it. Then I saw my daughter, calling. But then I got into the house, and my daughter was the first person to have walked in on my husband, who was holding his coffee and tipped over. There was nothing wrong. He wasn't sick. He didn't have a headache. She just woke up groggy from bed, coming to talk to him. She saw Daddy, and then she was there, and then our chef, at the time, was coming up the stairs. So I walked in on them, and the first person I was looking at was my daughter. So we had to quickly get it under control. Tried. My pastor happened to be there, and we just rushed him to the hospital. And the first thing they told us was, we need to get a medical emergency card, hospital card. Mm-hmm. I don't know whether you understand that when you get to a hospital, and the first thing is for somebody to come and take a look at your husband, and somebody saying, go and buy a 15 Ghana cedis.
That is
card.
Madness.
I literally
when the person would practically be in the hospital and not run away. That's the kind of system we have.
And I was about to strangle somebody.
Yeah.
But Stacey, in a short space of time, in barely an hour from the moment I had a conversation with my husband, he was gone. I don't think it was up to an hour. But 1 minute, the person is here. The next minute, you married for 15 years, slept on the same bed with this person, had every conversation, did everything together. Well, you're married, so you understand. Yeah. So in spite of it all, the suddenness, the shock, there was nothing that told me that usual Saturday morning.
So let's say because of 15 cities.
Yeah.
They didn't do what they had to do.
Basically, he just said, go get the card. So I had to go and strangle. And I walked into the doctor's office and pulled the doctor out because he was seeing to somebody. I said, I have an emergency before he came.
That's my kind of spirit.
Yeah. Because at that stage, there was so much calamity and confusion. But clearly, there was somebody who was in distress. Mm-hmm. So at that point, when he came, I think he was a little bit irritated that I was asking him to do that anyway. So he said, oh, this person doesn't seem to be alive. Anyway, so we drove off and we went to the next hospital. But then, yeah.
What kind of doctor is this? Which hospital is that? May I name and shame on this show?
I for many, many reasons, I don't even want to get into the names and, like you said, name and shame.
These are some of the things
I do this only because it's very key for us to deal with these situations outside of just talking about it.
But you know what I've realized? Ghanaians will not do what is right till the media talks about it. Now, Nana McBrown said on this show that when she had the accident, when her hand was falling off, she went to 37 and they were asking her for card.
It's the same. Is the same context in many hospitals.
When the right thing should be, take this person in, try to save this life. When the person is stable, then you can do your card, even if your card is 1,000 cedis. Did you look like someone who couldn't afford 15 cedis?
Many systems around the world treat emergencies as emergencies.
Emergencies.
I think developing countries have to learn to treat emergencies as emergencies. And I understand your concern. I understand why you would say, okay, just name and shame. But we also have to put in context that in mentioning, it's not about the hospital, it's about the system, and it's about the problem. You see, what you're talking about is not one hospital. It cuts across.
All over.
Yes.
If we should give people the opportunity, we'll get about 20 hospitals.
Exactly. So where
people have had bad experiences.
Exactly. So the issue for me is not about the hospital, it's about the root cause. The root cause to deal with is the fact that we need to treat emergencies as emergencies. So if there's anybody who is in the medical profession, then I talk about it everywhere, to everybody I can talk to. And the clear thing is I've expressed this to many medical professionals. So, and I think that's the main thing. An emergency is an emergency. Even if you lose money, income, revenue of 15 cedis, let's say that the people even run away, you've treated an emergency. Because in other developed societies, they would actually drive an ambulance to your house.
To your house.
You don't have to drive to the hospital. And when they come, whether you have it, you don't have it, whether to cost them is part of the developmental process. So that's where we need to get to. And so I think it cuts across so many that when you call 1 or 2 or 3 hospitals, it does not solve the root cause. The root cause is the medical system has to be worked on or overhauled to look at emergencies as emergencies. Because if somebody could be saved.
Restoration.
We've come a long way and we're constantly on the move. We go bravely, confidently, gracefully. For we are the gracious ones. We love, we share, we give. We are the inspired ones. We laugh, we teach, we live. Our mothers and fathers, our sons and daughters, our brothers and sisters of every day and forever. All of us are a gift to each other. We live a life that's never ending. Our beauty is a never fading grace. GTP, timeless.
Oh, hi! I'm making my delicious yam fritters today. My dad loves them, which makes it easier to ask for extra pocket money. I use yam, chicken breast, seasoning, zucchini, carrots, spinach, flour, baking powder, herbs, pepper, and my favorite, fritol. First, prepare a thick batter. Then create a hollow center in the yam and boil. Dip the yam in the batter and deep fry with fritol. Season the chicken, stir fry, and saute vegetables. Garnish and serve.
Everyone has that one meal that is unbeatable.
What's yours?
Join the One Meal Challenge and show the world why absolutely nobody makes that one memorable dish like you can.
This dish always works.
Fritol, making life memorable.
When I'm down and I need something to cheer me out, well, it's an exclusive drink, vanilla flavored and so refreshing. Special malt. Special malt. Guess what? Special malt makes me feel okay. Special malt. Even you in the system, before drinking, see. Special malt. Special malt makes me feel okay. Special malt. So clean and smooth. Oh yeah, enjoy yourself. Special malt. Special malt makes me feel okay. Special malt. Guess what? Special malt makes me feel okay. Special malt. Even you in the system, before drinking, see. Special malt.
special malt. Feel special.
I've got yes comfort. I've got yes confidence. I've got yes freshness. We've got yes protection.
Ultra thin, wide wings and leak guards. Yes sanitary pads give you maximum comfort, hygiene and protection in a resealable pack.
We've got yes protection.
Yes sanitary pads. Maximum protection, maximum confidence.
Don't worry, we've got yes protection.
I love to eat a tasty breakfast in the morning. Something delicious and healthy, filled with vitamins. That's what daylight makes me so bright. Keeps my body happy. Let me tell you about what I eat. It's my secret. Hooch, crunchy, crunch, cornflakes. Hooch, crunchy, crunch, cornflakes. Hooch, crunchy, crunch, cornflakes. Yeah. Hooch, crunchy, crunch, cornflakes. Wow! I say hooch, crunchy, crunch, cornflakes. Hooch, crunchy, crunch, cornflakes. Crunchy!
Hooch, healthy for everyone.
So it was at the second hospital.
That yes, the first person thought, oh, this case nothing could be done about it. By the second hospital, they said he was gone.
What did you do?
Oh, I didn't. Well, at the second hospital, what I remember was that I was sitting with him. He was lying on me. So I was talking to him the whole time. I mean, I was sitting, his head was on me and we were talking. He felt very warm. So I didn't get any feel that he was gone. I mean, there was no visual, there was no feel. I thought, you know, when things happen like that, death is the last thing on your mind.
Yeah.
You know they would come back. I mean, you won't even think of death. You would think of recovery. How do I get this person to be well?
Yeah.
Now, mind you, Stacey, I had just gone through a fast at the time.
So you knew God was in control.
Mind you, Stacey, I had just come back from a prayer meeting, interceding continuously. So why would I have my husband? I mean, think about it. I mean, you've just been through a dry fast. Not this thing. I'm talking about dry.
14 days.
Yes. And then you've prayed. And then you're expecting your reward from God. So I was expecting a reward. So if I'm sitting there and I've just come from prayer meeting, then, I mean, death was the last thing on my mind. I was expecting a miracle and a testimony that morning. And I knew that God would bring him back. And I knew that he was not gone because I was feeling him. I was talking to him. So I knew that, you know, whatever it is, he'll come back and I will talk about this and I'll give a testimony. So I'll be on Restoration with Stacey, talking about a near-death experience of my husband who came back. But I didn't know that time that I'll be sitting on Restoration with Stacey saying my husband passed. So I was sort of literally probed a little bit and probed and pulled out of the car because I wouldn't get out. And so I still at that point, I didn't know he had passed. So they just told me, come out, the medical professionals want to look at him, blah, 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 blah. So eventually, I said they should look at him. I'm here. I'm the only person take care of it. But eventually, I pulled myself out as usual. My pastor came and talked to me and said, listen, let the medical professionals do their work. Then, you know, so they took me to another small area. But as they were moving me away, I heard something about the word mortuary. And I said, what? I turned back and they said, oh, it wasn't him.
Not your business.
They said it wasn't him they were talking about, something else sat there. So I think it was a short period. Then I heard he did not make it. It was, and I'm talking about all this was within a space of an hour, max, an hour 30, from the
house, the drive.
That whole incident, very short. So 1 minute, you're talking with somebody, you move off, you go and pray, you come back, then in a space of a short while, you see your daughter, you see your husband, and he's gone. So your life transforms overnight. And it made me come to understand the impact of loss. But then at that point, I did not understand that even within loss, when there's impact, at that same time, there's also power. I don't understand the power of the human capacity. I did not understand that I could take it. I did not understand that I could survive it. I did not understand that I could live.
You survived it beautifully.
Stacey, what you don't think about can happen to you at any time. And when it happens, it just reminds you that you have a supreme God and a mortal human being. And part of the reason why I was so strong on my message about your personal Trinity, because human beings are only mortal, but God is supreme. Mm-hmm. In spite of that, somebody would say, I give up on God, especially for what had happened at the time. But so my day turned over. I mean, within a matter of minutes, But one significant thing happened that day, and it made me realize that there is power that God has given, that there is truly God in us. I don't know whether I'm sure you've seen bereavement happen before. So many people troop into your house, blah, 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 blah. So I went through the day in a daze, as usual. I saw people greeting me, blah, blah, blah. But as about 12 midnight or 1 a.m., I hadn't moved, fully because I couldn't go back. I didn't go back to our bedroom. But I was trying to sit up. I mean, of course, I didn't sleep, but I was sitting up and trying to recount the events. And I had my, young sister with me. And she said, I'll sleep in the room with you. So she came with me. But then my phone kept ringing. Of course, my phone had been ringing all throughout the day. And I didn't even know, I hadn't picked up my phone the whole day. It was not with me. But this particular number kept ringing. So when I saw my phone, I thought, it was one of our friends from outside who was probably just heard. Stacey, then my phone rings and I pick up the phone. And as soon as I answered the phone, it was somebody on the other line crying about an issue they were having that needed my help.
Oh, wow. Wow.
The person had no idea I'd lost my husband.
Mm-hmm.
The person had no idea anything had happened. They didn't even know they had come with a coaching, counseling, serious issue, serious relationship issue that it was, if I didn't step in and help, something could happen. And this person was crying, says, and at first when I heard the tears, I thought, oh God, another person. And then she says, I'm having a problem. And I was on this social media page and I was in this group and somebody was talking about the problem. And then they mentioned that the best person you need to talk to is Dzigbodi on the social media group. She says, oh, I know her, I have a number. And so she said just about when she was going to put her issues there, then she saw my name. So she decided to call me.
Her problems came when your problems had arrived.
And I sat on the phone and I said, one, you have two choices. Tell the woman you've just lost your husband. Hours. So do you hang up or do you help? So there is, I actually made a concept out of this. Do you hang up or do you help? That's what determines.
And I can bet you helped.
I spent 3 hours on the phone
with her,
with this woman. So from about midnight till about 3 a.m., I, who was in this state, actually at some point I realized that my cap had fallen. My cap of pain had fallen, and I was rather, and everything she was talking about to do with her relationship and her marriage, I was looking at it in the context of, can you imagine what has just happened to me? Mm-hmm. And that power was what came over me to deal with that situation. 3 hours, and I was able to get her through and calm her down. Calm her totally down, and she said, okay. And she hung up the phone. First, second, third day, which was the Tuesday, this woman calls and starts screaming and says, I was actually calling you to let you know that my problem had been resolved, only
Thank
to
God.
find out that this is what had happened to you. How did you do that? She has never gotten over it till today. Because she said there was nothing that she could sense in my voice that told her. When you have a calling, a gift, or a talent, no amount of pain would pull that power from you.
Yeah.
It takes an unprecedented stretch. It's something that you would know. I mean, I still don't know how I did it because I don't think I did it on my own. I don't think there's any power that I had. But what I was going through was nothing that I would wish on anybody in this world. But to answer a call at that time, I'm talking about God's call to do this. It reminded me that even in our loss, we have power.
We have. We too. I'm still thinking how she did it. It takes the grace and power of God to do what she did. Dzigbodi, it's been amazing. I wish we could go on another hour. It's been amazing. But seriously, I need you to come back to talk about other things. I really need you to come back. So before I let go of you, I have something little from our sponsors. Yes. You cannot come and go empty-handed. Thank you. So this is from Hooch Cornflakes. We have the corn and the choco flakes. And now we even have the frosted cornflakes. So the kids can enjoy this.
I guess. Thank you, Hooch, to make sure that some people are going to be enjoying cereals. My team members are all I read at this point.
Hey, please, it's
and
not
they
for
think,
you.
And they think they are children. So
They are
please
not
announce it to them now.
They are
because
not
I know
children.
that as I'm walking out of here,
some will be saying, Mommy.
Some will be saying, they'll start calling me mommy and holding my legs and kissing me, giving me wet kisses like they're 4-year-olds.
Take your kisses.
So that's what it is. But
and we also
thank
have
you very
products
much.
from Yaz for you. That's Yaz washing powder, Yaz sanitary pad. Maybe you can give you some of the pad. You manage it like that because you are girls.
Thank you very much, Hooch. Thank you very much, Yaz.
It's been amazing.
I all I have to say is that let every human being must know that they have an entrepreneurial spirit, they have leadership, and they have power more than they ever know. It's been a delight being here.
I've enjoyed you so much. God bless you.
God bless you too for having
so
me.
much. Well, I hope you also enjoyed our conversation with Dzigbodi. Like I always say, you can do all things through Christ who strengthens you. We'll see you next week.
Welcome to the end of the tunnel. I see a bright light shining through, and it's just for you. There is hope.